So let's first take a look at the project where we have already implemented StoreKit 2, and then we will talk about how we can migrate to Glassfy SDK implementation. So to start with, let's get into the code, and we see here that this is the entry point of our application where you would find two major things. One is the purchase manager, which is an state object here, and the other one is the paywall view. The paywall view is nothing but the very first view that is shown to the user so that they can make a purchase of a product first, and then we let them enter to the main or primary screen of our application. You would find that the purchase manager is an observable object, and we have certain published variables here. Based on that, we are making decisions inside our paywall view. So this is how these two components are communicating with each other. The other part about this class is that it has product IDs, which are hard coded. You can either have them in your info.plist, or you maybe have an external server based on which you can fetch them. But in this case, we haven't done anything fancy. So let me show you where we have made these IDs. If you go to the Apple dashboard, then you would find that we have this project named Anchor Focus, and inside Anchor Focus, we have subscriptions. Under subscription, we have made two offers. One is the monthly premium and the other one is yearly premium. And for both of them, we have unique IDs, and we have used those unique IDs right away in our project. And you also see that we have two arrays here. The purchase product ID helps you to keep a track of all the products that you have purchased, and based on that, you can make certain decisions. Once you load the products, you get all of them inside this array products. The other important part is this variable, which is has unlock pro. So we change the value of this particular object based on if we have made a successful purchase or not. And based on this, we make the decision if we want to redirect the user to the main view or we want to keep them on the paywall view itself. You would also find we have init, inside which we are calling this method. This is observe transaction updates. This method does nothing but takes care of all the events that are happening outside the application. Maybe somebody renewed their plan, maybe somebody's plan got revoked, maybe somebody's plan got cancelled, maybe somebody made a new purchase. So all of these particular scenarios are taken care by transaction.updates so that we are always up to date when we open the application. The other important method that we have is load products. Until you load the products, you would not be able to show them on your paywall. So we use this particular method to fetch all the products that we have made on our App Store Connect using StoreKit APIs, obviously. Then we have a very important method, which is purchase. It is like the name itself says that. Product.purchase is the method that we use for that, and it has certain results which are of type enum, which has all these cases: success, which is verified; success, which is unverified; it has pending state, user cancelled, and whatnot. So we manage the success case in this manner that we finish the transaction first, and once our purchase is done, we make sure that we update the purchase products. So for that, we have this method which makes sure that our purchase was verified, it has been validated. So for that, we have a special method that StoreKit 2 offers us. This is nothing but transaction.current entitlements, and this allows us to make sure that we have validated our purchase. And based on that, you can either add that product to the purchase IDs or you can remove that product from the purchase IDs. That's pretty much it about the purchase manager. Now let's talk about the paywall view, inside which we are actually using all the logic that we have written inside purchase manager. This particular view shows the UI to you, which offers you all the products that you have. So for the very first condition that we have is this one. If the has unlock pro variable is true, then we take you directly to the content view, which is the primary view of this application. Otherwise, we'll keep you on the paywall view with this particular config. So we have a text view first, and then we iterate over the products that we have fetched from our App Store Connect using StoreKit APIs, and we make them as a button which has the purchase action. After that, we also have a restore purchase button, and using that we can restore all the purchases that we have made so far. Apple doesn't directly recommend to have this button in your app, but since its documentation is quite ambiguous about this particular point, so we make sure that we have this button always in our application. The very important task that we run behind the scenes when we just get onto this view is making sure that we have loaded the products. So this function takes care of that. Well, we missed to talk about one very important method inside our purchase manager class, that is update purchase products. We have talked about it when we are making a purchase, but we have also called it when you open the application. In the entry point, you can see that we are running this async task where we are calling this function. So why we are making a call to this function? Because we want to make sure that if the user has purchased an item before, and if we get back to the application, then they should be able to see the updated view. They should not be shown the paywall because they have made a purchase. If they haven't made a purchase, then we show them the paywall. So this particular set helps us to make sure that if we have a product inside the set, then we show the screen based on that. If we do not, then we show the screen based on that as well. So that's pretty much it about the coding part. Now let me show you the demo of this application. So for that we have used our simulator. Let's run the application, and to run this demo we are using our StoreKit configuration file so that we can mock the transaction part. So if we run the application, you can find that we have two products here, which is monthly premium and yearly premium. If we try to purchase the monthly premium, then it shows a pop-up like this, and we will just subscribe to it, and it was a successful purchase. If we click on OK, it redirects us to the main view of this application, which is a Pomodoro timer. So that's pretty much it about the StoreKit implementation part. Now let's talk about how we can migrate this code to Glassfy SDK implementation. So to start with Glassfy implementation, we will first have to import the package, the Swift package that Glassfy has. Just go to File and Add Packages and simply write Glassfy. If you like, you can also copy paste the GitHub URL that they have for iOS SDK, which is visible over here. You just need to click on Add Package, and it asks you if you are having the right target, and you just add the package right here. You can see the package has been added to our project, and now you are able to use all the things that Glassfy offers you. So we'll touch upon them one by one. So now that we have added the package to our project, the next step is to create an account on Glassfy dashboard. Just go to glassfy.io and you should be able to see build for free option in the right top. This is the option that you have. Click on build for free, and now you will be able to create your own account on Glassfy. Since I already have one, I'll move on to my account and it will show you how it works. Just create a new app over here. I have one for me, which is Anchor Focus. You can create one for yourself by using this option, create new app. After creating your app, you will land to this page. This is quick start, and it has all the steps that you have to follow. You first configure the SDK, which you already done. The next step is to initialize the SDK, and you have a method for it, glassfy.initialize. It asks you for your API key and watcher mode. I'll tell you what these things are. Let me first head back to settings section to show you what is API key. API key is the key, a unique key given to you by Glassfy dashboard for your certain application. In our example, this is the API key. We'll just copy this and go back to our class, the purchase manager class, which we have completely changed. We have moved to the other branch, which is migrate to Glassfy. I'll share the link with you in the description box down below. You would find that we are going to use the purchase manager now as a singleton class, not as an observable object. And we have certain variables or properties that we have made inside this class. The first one is the shared instance that we have to create. The other one is the API key value that we have taken from our Glassfy dashboard. You can find that it is having the same API key. And then we have an array of products, which is called SKUs according to Glassfy. So we have an array of SKUs as well. After that, we will configure our SDK. For that, you first have to import your Glassfy module, and then you can write the function glassfy.initialize the API key that we have just written here, and watcher mode. What is watcher mode? If you want to use StoreKit implementation along with Glassfy implementation, you can go ahead with that option as well. Only thing that you have to do is, for this particular option, watcher mode, just give it the value true, and then StoreKit will take care of all the things that it was taking care of before, which is the main purchasing part, and Glassfy takes care of all the metrics that are involved, all the other options that it offers like triggers and Glassfy functions and whatnot. So if you like, you can use both the combination. In this particular example, we will be completely replacing StoreKit 2 with Glassfy. So let's go with the false assignment to it, and let's get back to our next step. So next step is to store configuration. And if you open the App Store, it is asking you for Apple Shared Secret and App Bundle ID. I've already entered them. Let's find where you can find the Apple Shared Secret. If you go back to your App Store Connect for your certain application that you have created, you go to the option of app information, and then in that particular section you would be able to find app specific shared secret. If you click on manage, you would find that there is a shared secret. If there is not, then you can create one. Just copy this from here, and you have to use it over this dashboard. Just copy and paste it over here. For the app bundle ID, go to your Xcode project, go to your project target, and under signing and capabilities, you would be able to find the bundle identifier as well, and you just copy paste that as well over here. The next step is for the Play Store, which is not in our consideration for this video since we are talking about iOS only. The next step after this is products configuration. So products configuration is nothing but creating your own SKUs. So Glassfy called it SKUs or SKUs, whatever you want to call it. In the product section, you can see that we have created certain SKUs, and we have the monthly premium and yearly premium, just like we had on the App Store Connect, and we have given them the same product ID. You can create one for yourself. Just click on create SKU and just enter the detail SKU ID. Maybe it's a weekly, and for add app store product, we will choose the subscription option since our model is a subscription. For the product ID, get your product ID from the App Store Connect. Under subscription, I find premium, and under premium, I have monthly premium and yearly premium, and I have both the product IDs for them. So I'll just grab it from there, completely paste it, and I'll save this option. With that done, I will be able to create one more SKU inside this section. Now that you have created your SKUs, the next step is to create permissions for them. So click on permission button and give it identifier. You can name it anything you want. We have named it in the same manner the way we have named it in the SKU section. After that, you will just add the SKU for which you are adding the permission. Maybe for the monthly premium, you can add that right away and just save it. This is how you can create the permissions. Now this is very interesting part of this video, which is creating offerings. If you click on create offerings, you would be able to create an offering that has certain SKUs inside it. What this function do is, since you have seen in the StoreKit implementation that we had to hard code our product IDs in our application because we didn't have any external server to fetch those IDs from. In this scenario of Glassfy implementation, it is offering you certain APIs that helps you not to hard code those product IDs. You just create an offering, maybe the name of the offering is Pro, and under that offering you can add certain SKUs. And Glassfy offers you a direct API that helps you fetch all of these SKUs that you have written inside a certain offering, and you can keep things dynamic in that way. You don't have to hard code them in your project. So we have done it in the same manner. We have named it premium, and under premium we have added both the values. So now that we are done with all the initial setup for Glassfy SDK, let's get into the project back again and see what all APIs Glassfy SDK offers us. So I have few APIs already implemented for you. One of them is has purchased. We use this method to make sure that whenever user come back to the application after making a purchase, they should be able to see a updated view. So this method is doing nothing but checking the permissions. If that product has been purchased, as it lets you get into the application right away. Otherwise, it keeps you to the paywall view. The other method that we have is purchase method, which is very important to make any purchase. And this method is allowing you to purchase a certain SKU. You just have to pass the SKU, and then you would be able to call this method. And once you have made the purchase, you have to check if it has permissions or not. So we check that. If it is valid, then we return true, otherwise we return false. In the same manner, we have an important function which is get product, which is the soul or spine of this particular paywall. So until you get all the products, you would not be able to show anything on the paywall. For that, we use glassfy.offerings. So this is the method I was talking about. If you have created an offering under which you have certain SKUs, you can directly call this method to get all of those SKUs in a dynamic manner. If you have added some more SKUs down the line, you would be able to fetch them as well and use them wherever you like. So we have used them in this manner. We are appending all of them inside our products array. The next method that we have is restore purchases. This is the same method that we were using in StoreKit 2 as well, but the way we are calling it has been changed since we are using Glassfy in this one. So Glassfy has this method called glassfy.restore purchases that allows you to check if you already have certain purchases or not, and based on that you can take certain decisions again. Now we are using all of these methods inside our paywall view. So let's head back to our paywall view and see what all changes we have made inside it. The first and very important change that you should look at is if you go to the asynchronous task that we run once this view is going to initialize, you will find that we are calling two asynchronous methods. So the first thing that we do is get all the products, and the next thing that we do is check if we have made purchase or not. So if we have made a purchase, then we will turn this value to true, so that based on this value we can make the changes on our paywall view. If has unlocked pro is true, then we show the content view. Otherwise we show our usual paywall view. You would find that we have changed certain things inside this code as well. Earlier we had purchase manager dot products, and we were using that particular thing to iterate over as buttons. But now we have direct array which we are using here to get all the values. We are appending all of those values right away in this step itself when we get all the products. So we take all of these products inside our array from our purchase manager class, which has the same variable called products. And we can iterate over them over here, and it has the same functionality. Nothing has been changed. As you would find, we have been using almost a similar pattern to make sure that we are giving the right view to the user. For restore purchases, we have this method which we have written in our purchase manager class, and we have already explained this part. So now that we are good with all the coding part, let's see the real demo of how this application works after moving it to Glassfy SDK. So I have switched to my real phone here, and then I'll play and hit the run button. So you can find on this particular screen that we are going to have two offerings, monthly premium and yearly premium, and both of them are getting fetched using Glassfy SDK APIs. If you click any one of these, which says if you want to make a purchase, because we are using our sandbox account credentials here, if you click on subscribe, then it asks you for your sandbox account password. If I enter the password, which I am currently doing, and sign in, then you would be able to make a successful purchase. And the application should send you directly to the main screen, which is the Pomodoro Technique timer screen. And there you go. It says your purchase was successful. If you click on OK, it redirects you to the main screen of the application. Now what happens if we run the application once again without purchasing anything again, because we have made a purchase before? Let's see if our logic works fine or not. If we run the application back again, let's head back and see which type of view it shows us. It takes us to the primary view, which is the main view, and it takes you away from the paywall. The reason behind having that jitter that we saw was that we are calling these two methods asynchronously. First we are loading the products, and then we are making sure that we have made any purchase out of those products or not. If you do not have the products, how would you be able to make the decision that you have purchased any product or not? Since we are not going to have static product IDs, so it is important for you to have your products saved somewhere, maybe locally, once you fetch them for the very first time, or you can also use the same way of getting them. Maybe you can change your logic. Maybe you can add something over here in the purchase manager itself, and you call these methods when the application runs from the entry point. Whatever suits for you, this is the way we can handle that situation. And this is the complete roadmap to how you can move your application from StoreKit 2 implementation to Glassfy SDK completely without any problem. If you have any questions, then please feel free to write them in the comment section down below. I'll be very happy to answer them. And if you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more such content in future. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.